This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report, as we turn now to presidential politics. Nermeen?
Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain strongly rejected sexual harassment allegations against him in a press conference yesterday. He vowed not to withdraw from the 2012 presidential race and claimed to have never seen the woman making the accusations.
I tried to remember if I recognized her, and I didn't. I tried to remember if I remembered that name, and I didn't. The charges and the accusations I absolutely reject. They simply didn't happen.
Cain was responding to allegations made by Sharon Bialik on Monday. Bialik said he improperly touched her in 1997 while he was the head of the National Restaurant Association, or NRA. Meanwhile, Karen Kroschar, who accused Cain of sexual harassment when they both worked for the NRA in the 1990s, confirmed publicly for the first time yesterday that she had made allegations against him.
Karen Kroschar, by the way, is now a spokesperson for the Treasury Department. Last week, Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain acknowledged he was accused of sexual harassment while at the National Restaurant Association. He made the admission after Politico reported 2 female employees of the association had complained of sexually suggestive comments and gestures by Cain. Sharon Bialik was the first to appear in public, make a statement. She had not brought charges. She said she and Cain had dinner together in Washington, D.C. when she was asking him to help her find a job. She said the incident took place in a parked car after dinner.
I thought that we were going to go into the offices so that he could show me around. At that time, I had on a black pleated skirt, a suit jacket, and a blouse. He had on a suit with his shirt open. But instead of going into the offices, he suddenly reached over and he put his hand on my leg, under my skirt, and reached for my genitals. He also grabbed my head and brought it towards his crotch. I was very, very surprised and very shocked. I said, "What are you doing? You know I have a boyfriend. This isn't what I came here for." Mr. Cain said, "You want a job, right?" I asked him to stop, and he did. I asked him to take me back to my hotel, which he did right away.
Speaking at a news conference in New York City, Sharon Bialik explained why she had decided to speak publicly about Herman Cain now.
I'm coming forward to give a face and a voice to those women who cannot, or for whatever reasons do not wish to come forward, and on behalf of all women who are sexually harassed in the workplace but do not come out of fear of retaliation or in public humiliation. I really didn't want to be here today and wouldn't have been here if it had not been for the 3 other women who have alleged sexual harassment against Mr. Cain. I want you, Mr. Cain, to come clean. Just admit what you did.
Well, yesterday, Herman Cain accused the Democratic Party of being behind the accusations.
We will get through this. We will get through this. The fact is, these anonymous allegations are false, and now the Democrat machine in America has brought forth a troubled woman to make false accusations, statements, many of which exceed common sense. And they certainly exceed the standards of decency in America.
To talk more about the accusations against Herman Cain, we're joined now by Dahlia Lithwick. She's at the PBS affiliate WCVE in Richmond, Virginia, senior editor at Slate.com, their senior legal correspondent, Supreme Court reporter. Her article on Herman Cain is called Never Happened. Conservatives aren't just defending Herman Cain, they're denying the very existence of sexual harassment. Dahlia, talk more about this whole controversy that has been swirling around Herman Cain. Though he said he would not address this last week, yesterday he's holding a news conference as the 4th woman comes forward.
Well, what animated the writing of the article was simply astonishment that we had allegations initially. As you said, they were anonymous in that we had 2 women come forward. They were bound by confidentiality not to speak about this. And so when I wrote the article, we had 2, then maybe 3, then maybe 4 nameless, faceless accusers. And what was striking to me in watching this play out was the extent to which Cain's defenders, who could have just stopped at calling this, he said, she said, could have stopped at maligning them or their intentions, went one step further to a place that I am amazed that we're willing to go in American discourse and discredit the whole doctrine of sexual harassment. In other words, just systematically saying there's no such thing as sexual harassment, article after article saying this is a cabal of women who lie and they're greedy plaintiffs' attorneys, and just the deeply, deeply gender-based, really suspicious, hateful notion that there's never a legitimate sexual harassment allegation because the entire thing is just a racket for plaintiff lawyers and greedy women who can't get rich the normal way. And so that was really what was very, very really terrifying to me as a legal reporter, is to see an entire doctrine discredited and taken off the table as though there has never been and never will be a legitimate complaint that a man harassed a woman.
Conservative radio talk show host Rush Limbaugh has expressed contempt for the women making accusations against Republican presidential hopeful Herman Cain. He implied in a broadcast Tuesday that the women themselves were to be blamed.
I'll tell you, the left has everybody running around in straitjackets, handcuffs, and gags. Everybody gagged, blindfolded, you name it. That's what they want. A 5th woman. Now, in a period of 2 weeks, Herman Cain's been alive how many years? 65 years. And in 2 weeks of his life, bammo, 5 women from out of nowhere. When he takes a lead in the polls for the I'll tell you, you women, why don't you just make it official, put on some burqas, and I'll guarantee you nobody will touch you. You put on a burqa and everybody will leave you alone if that's what you want.
That was Rush Limbaugh on his radio show Tuesday. On Monday, he also attacked Sharon Bialik, one of Cain's accusers, by mocking her name.
Folks, get this now. I have been wrong in pronouncing the 4th Cain accuser's name as Bialik. Gloria Allred says that her name is pronounced Bialik, as in Bialik. Bialik, it's B-I-A-L-E-K. I assumed it was Bialik, but Gloria Allred says her name is Bialik, as in Bialik.
Dahlia, talk further about how this, you feel, is undermining the whole body of sexual harassment law, what this means.
Well, listening to Rush there, it reminds you of the accusations against Anita Hill. Remember, this is a woman who doesn't come forward willingly against Clarence Thomas. She's dragged into the limelight. She presents pretty credible evidence of what her claims are against Thomas. And instead of talking about them on the merits, you immediately see her attacked as, you remember the famous catchphrase, a little bit nutty, a little bit slutty. So again, I think this goes to these archetypes that if you fail everything else, just accuse women of being insane, accuse them of being trampy, accuse them of being hysterics. I think that that's a little bit of what you're hearing there is, and I find it fascinating that you never hear these accusations turned against male accusers of misconduct. These are really, really Shakespearean ideas of women as emotional and unhinged. In this case, there's a lovely strain of humorlessness. Rand Paul, speaking about this last week, said this is just, part of women's humorlessness, and that he's just learned to never even try to tell a joke to a woman because we always take it wrong. And so I sort of see it as a taxonomy of strange archetypal ideas of women as just devoid of humor, devoid of reason, who are just inclined to go absolutely insane if you look at them funny and then speed dial a plaintiff's attorney and file a suit. And so much of what you're hearing there in the Limbaugh critique is an attempt to sort of sexualize, minimalize, humiliate, and degrade a woman, rather than simply saying, if this were a man who came forward with these allegations or similar allegations, at the very least, we wouldn't start from the predicate that they're hysterical liars.
Very quickly, I want to play a clip. Very different demeanor of Herman Cain. Very serious yesterday at the news conference. But just the day before that, on Monday night, this is Herman Cain's appearance on ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live, only hours after fourth woman came forward to accuse him of sexual harassment.
We are taking this head on because...
Have you considered hiring Gloria Allred as your attorney?
You almost made me say something that my handlers say you should not say.
Really?
Let me put it to you this way. I can't think of anything that I would hire her to do, okay? I can't think of a thing.
And that was Republican presidential candidate who until now has been ahead in the polls on Jimmy Kimmel Live, the comedy show on ABC. Final comment, Dahlia.
Simply that, you know, this tendency of Cain to toggle back and forth between this is hilarious and humorous and I'm the victim here is really, really interesting. They're both ways of not taking it seriously. And whether he characterizes himself as the victim of this Democrat machine, comprised, by the way, of two, I think, registered Republican women, or, you know, as sort of a laugh line that, you know, Gloria Allred and every woman she represents is a joke, I think are two ways to deflect the real issue that I think he really, at some point, needs to get to on the merits and address them.
Dahlia Lithwick, we want to thank you for being with us. Senior editor at Slate.com, senior legal correspondent and Supreme Court reporter, joining us from PBS affiliate WCVE in Richmond, Virginia.